Okay, so this is the temperature right here in the room. That's the temperature in like one of the sensors in the trailer. That right there is the temperature in the garage. And then the next one will be the temperature outside. Do you remember how early on in some of the earliest videos that I was making, I talked a lot about experience. I talked a lot about how, you know, it takes a while to, you don't learn unless you do. You don't learn unless you do, unless you do, you fail, you try, you succeed. You don't learn until you do like this entire process, this cycle of trying new things. What I'm getting at is one of the things that I've been putting off for a long time is sort of like redoing my electrical stuff. So let me back up. When I first did all of the electrical stuff that I've got going on right now with the Group 31 battery and running lights and switches and power for a fridge, I had a very, I wouldn't even say I had a basic understanding of it. I mean, I really just had no earthly idea what I was doing. I was doing the best I could but I have a better understanding of how a lot of it works now. And I've spent some time trying to kind of conceptualize and plan out what I'm wanting to accomplish. The reason why I'm doing this now is because I've got a problem. I've got a deep cycle Group 31 AGM battery. It's a Duracell. Maybe it's not a very good quality, or maybe it's just the nature of the beast, but it's been a little over 2 years now and it's dying. Something is happening with it. I wanted to take this opportunity to put something in that I knew that was going to be higher quality. I'm either having a problem with the battery or the fridge. But if I plug in my ARB fridge, it's supposed to have, and I think it's the fridge to be honest, because it's supposed to have an automatic shut off, and I have it set at the highest setting for being conservative or whatever. It should shut off at like 12.1, 12.2. And it kills the battery. And I've been out in the middle of nowhere twice and had a dead battery, and twice I got bailed out by somebody else. So twice I was really kind of lucky. I have bought a thing, this like NOCO boost recharge jumpstart thing. Just in case, I think this is a good set of redundancy. I'm also thinking about going to a dual battery setup. I'm not there yet, but what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna put in an Odyssey battery, and I'm going to be putting in, I've got a new fridge from Dometic, and I actually have a whole slew of stuff. And so this is going to be the very beginning of, it's going to be, not several, but it's going to be multiple videos, and it's going to be multiple days over the next week or two. I'm not really sure what I'm getting myself into. I may be able to kind of buzz through some of this stuff pretty quick. I think it's gonna take me longer than that though. Not like pretty quick as a quantifiable measured unit of time. But the point is this, I've got a huge major overhaul. I've got a huge major overhaul that I'm in the middle of, that I'm going to be redoing everything, and I'm super excited to bring you, to show you, I'm gonna be doing it all myself, and so I've learned a lot. Hopefully you can gather some from this too. And so yeah, I mean, let's get started. Okay, so firstly, I want to take this opportunity to thank all of the sponsors for this project. I have had so much enthusiasm in bringing all of this together. So I'm just going to put something up on the screen right here. Okay, so I'm not really sure how much I'm going to accomplish today. I already know I need to go to the store because I ordered something to go with these guys, the little eyelet connector thingamajiggers. These. I ordered these and they didn't come in. So I'm gonna have to go to the store and see if I can pick some up. This is what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I've got the battery here, and it's in a AGM Group 31, you know, whatever that means. Basically, I want to have power in the back. So here's a 6 or 12 circuit fuse block, like this. Not 12, 6. I also have a variety of power needs up here in the front. So I want to have another fuse block up here. So another 6 circuit, although I do have an 8, so it could be an 8. Off of this fuse block, I'm going to use that to run other power needs that I might have, like my high beams and my low beams. for, you know, my Xenon Depot upgraded. So I'm going to need to run power to this, and I'm also going to need to run power to this right here. But in order to run power to these things, one of the problems that I could be having right now is that I may have some sort of a power suck somewhere. I'm not really sure where that is. What would be nice is that if I could easily shut power off to this line or this line, effectively just kind of shutting down those connections. And so what I want to do is I want to put in a circuit box right here like this. A breaker box thing like that. And so I'm going to put one right here and one right here. And that way, this is a 150 amp, so it should have, so these little circuit things, these are only 100 amp doohickeys. Bottom line is I'll have double protection because I'll have the fuses here, which will help mitigate for any single accessory drawing too much. And then I'll have this as a failsafe, and then I can always just click on that button right there, and this thing right here will come out, and I can shut down the circuit, you know, all the power that goes to that. So in order to run power from the battery all the way to the back of the vehicle and through these breaker boxes and these other guys, that's why I got that really big 4-gauge cable. I'm actually, right now, I currently have the wiring that goes back to the back. I've got several different things. I've got wiring for the fridge. I've got wiring that goes back for the solar charge controller. Actually, I think that's it. But the reality, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna replace, I'm gonna pull that wire out, I'm gonna replace it with 4-gauge wire. I'm gonna bring from the battery all the way back to the back, and it's gonna go into this guy right here. And the cool thing is now I'll have that power going right back to this guy, and I can run all my accessories off of this. Like things like the fridge will run off of this. I'll run a Blue Sea USB, bloop, 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 bloop. And it'll have a 12-volt plug and a USB plug, and then it'll actually have a voltometer. That way I can plug the fridge into that. The bottom line is this: I'm gonna have all the power supplies that I need back here in the back. So from here, I can run the fridge, then I can run 12-volt USB plug, and then perhaps another one over here. And then on top of that, I will run this over to a solar charge controller, and then up to the panel. And so the panel will go into the charge controller. Solar charge controller will go into this thing. This thing will then be able to maybe help power some of this if I've got sun, but it'll also backfeed into the battery. The whole purpose of the solar panel array is to hopefully try to keep the AGM battery as topped off as possible. I haven't quite figured out if this is exactly the right way to do it, but I was going to run a NOCO battery tender back into this thing right here and have the plug, you know, into the back of the vehicle somewhere, maybe on the bumper or something like that, so that if the vehicle is going to sit for a couple of days, which it often does at my house here in Utah, I can plug it in, and that way it'll keep the battery charged. From here, from the battery, I've got a brand new SPOD system. It's not the Bantam, but it's the touchscreen model, which is what I really, really wanted. It's going to be great. From what I understand, the Bantam just has a smaller footprint. This is going to be fine. This is going to have 8 switches, and then I can go up to 32 circuits by adding additional modules. I'm going to go with this for now because from here I've got a whole lot of other things, and this is all thanks to Lightforce. I'm so excited to be working with Lightforce because I think their lights are some of the best in the industry. Got a couple of really, really fun surprises I'm working out in terms of the details. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make it work. Not there yet, but this is what we're going to be running. We're going to be running 40-inch bar on the rack, 30-inch bar in the bumper. I've got amber floods in the bumper, and then I'm going to be running, we're going to bring this rack uppers, sides, and then rear uppers. This will be white, this will be amber. And then, I guess this doesn't really go there, right? And then this will be amber flood. Oh, and then I also have undercarriage lights. Lights aren't going to happen in this video. I'm going to have a dedicated video specifically to the SPOD and the lights. I might even separate the two. I haven't decided yet. Oh, and I did this before and it's a lot more clean. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to do is I got to disconnect everything. I got to take it all apart, and I want to label every cable. I got to take it all off. I want to label every cable because I got to take it all off and put the new battery. I mean, I got to take it all off anyway. Okay, so the old SPOD, I'm taking the whole SPOD unit out. I don't need any of it anymore because I'm completely replacing it with something new. Right now I'm actually trying to decide if I'm gonna reuse this wire at all, or if I should just... Oh, and if you're wondering what I did to my wrist, it's not really clear yet. I actually probably shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now either, but I'm doing it anyway. This is gonna be the tricky part, how to get this guy out, because I kind of only have like one hand. Interestingly enough, the Odyssey battery is actually slightly smaller than this battery. On another note, one of the things I'm going to do, the reason why I have this hooked up right now, so I was just messing around with this and just wanted to see, this is going to be at the back of the vehicle. This is going to be handy. I've got a USB 12 volt plug, plus I can shut this off pretty easily. Plus I've got a readout here, it says it's 13.1, and the reason why I have this battery tender thingamajigger on here is because the battery sat for like, it's sat for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I wasn't really sure how long I was gonna have it setting, and I didn't want it to discharge. I don't know that it would. I just wanted to make sure it was properly charged up and like maximum, like whatever. Kind of went on a little bit of a wild goose chase there. So like I was saying, the distance between where the cables are and where the post is gonna be, it's less so on this Odyssey than it is from the factory, but it's still, like there's still a distance from it. And so I'm not really sure the best way to do this. So what I'm gonna do is I figure this thing right here, I'm gonna put this on the battery terminal. I'm gonna snip this wire at length. I've got some other eyelet connectors that I'll crimp onto here and use some shrink, heat shrink or whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna try and make it a little bit more of a cleaner, more custom like setup so that it's just cleaner. I don't know. So this is like a little battery holder downer thingamajigger, and it goes on top of the battery. But I got this one specifically because there's a metal plate up here where I can put something, which there's no room to put anything and like have it be accessible. But this thing is right on the top, so this is perfect, right? So yeah, let's put the battery in because I'm kind of not looking forward to this. Kind of not looking forward to this. Macaroni is heavy. All right, so I have 2 of the posts that came with this whole like tray thing. I honestly don't remember where I got the tray thing from. I saw it on Instagram somewhere, and you know how it goes, and looks like everything else is gonna line up pretty good. That's not going anywhere. So now I gotta figure out how to get the battery connection terminal thing over to here, because the factory one doesn't work. See, this doesn't reach. See, it doesn't quite reach. You know, I was at the auto parts store. They had this, it's 2 gauge. I think it'd be big enough because it's so short. I was like, do you have anything to cut this with? And they're like, and crimp it, and they're like, no. So I got these. I'm hoping that I can cut this. It's not working. Should I break out the Dremel? I don't even know. Try cutting a little piece at a time. I'm just gonna strip this the old-fashioned way.
Here you go.
What'd you bring me? Did you bring me blueberry muffins?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Love you.
Did you make them, Uncle?
Yeah.
Oh, Lily. You saw it in the rock video. Sorry. All right, so I just kind of figure like get this crammed in there really good. Oh, don't let me forget. I always forget this stuff. It's like super important to put on here. Heat shrink. It just cleans it up and keeps it from being exposed. I think this would be big enough. I'll put this on here. Do you want to say hi to the people in the internets? Say, hi peoples on the internets.
Hi.
Say hey buddy. Do you say, hey, hey, that's a good job saying hey. All right, first test cable thing done. Is it time to be done?
Like far past time to be done. I need to go to the grocery store. He's assisting you.
He's having his way with the car.
Just so
Are you driving?
driving and dancing.
You driving?
Just like mama.
Woo! Good morning. What is it today? The 27th. It's like the day after Christmas. So the plan is so I was thinking about putting one of these breaker thingamajiggers right down here. Another option is just to run both the breakers into this thing. I mean, all right, so this is gonna be the front. So this will go right here, just like that. And so then I'll run positive around to here, and then around to here, and then I'll run this over to here and over to here, and then I'll just run my negative terminals back. That's not going anywhere, it's in there. So I took one of these cables, cut it, I stripped that off, got all of the copper little wiring exposed, got this fitted on there, and so yeah, it's gonna go like that. I actually want it to be like this, so I'm gonna bend it up a little bit to fit it on the thing. Pretty snazzy. Positive cable made. Am I looking a lot at the screen? I'm sorry. I mean to be looking at you. All right. I don't remember all the details, but I'm going to shut this down and disconnect it. But if I remember correctly, last time I replaced the battery, whenever you disconnect the battery for a little while, whenever you start it back up again, it's like, it's not happy. Like, it's got to reset some settings or something like that. Anyway, that's why it died real quick. 13.3, which is about what it was yesterday whenever I was doing the old charger-rooney. Okay, so this is what I've done. Battery's hooked up, made a positive cable, made a negative cable right here, got the fuse blocks installed here, topping off the battery for no reasons probably. Oh, cleaned up some of that stuff right there. Those wires are all coming out. That's gonna be it for this video, I think. I'm sorry this is all broken up. There's a lot of like unsurety here. It's kind of hard to film something when you're not really sure what you're doing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. What's coming up next? In the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna mount the power tray. I'm gonna run power to the back. I gotta take the drawers out. I'm gonna take seat out. I'm gonna do all kinds of weird, crazy stuff because I gotta get to stuff. That's gonna be fun. This is gonna take a while. It's gonna take a lot longer than I thought it was gonna take. Anyway, see you later.